What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Instagram live series with Living Sisu. Super excited about Hedgeston. Just really excited today about having a new guest on. Really good buddy of mine. Hey, Jesse. Really good buddy of mine. We're going to talk about some cool stuff. I've known this guy for a long time. I played juniors with him. Played together at the World Juniors. He's played in the NHL for a while. What's up, Jay? Played in the NHL for a long time now, and really happy to talk to him. We're going to learn a lot about what he's learned, and see if he's living the Sisu lifestyle. So here at with the crew here with Living Sisu, we've been working on some unreal deals for the members. Two new companies on board, Crease Culture and EC3D, like top end compression equipment. Really happy to have them on. So we just added them today. Really pumped about this. Should be a really good live. We're going to have my good buddy, I call him a brother, Anthony Duclair. And we're just going to wait for him to get on, guys. We've been working real hard for the members this week. Some pretty cool stuff ahead, so really looking forward to that. So just want to know how everybody's weekend was. It was a good time. And we're going to have a good talk today. We're going to wait for him to get on. Hey, Hannah, how you doing? So this guy, he is a Montreal native. Played together in Quebec City. Played together. What's up, Phil? Played together at the World Juniors. This guy's played in New York with the Rangers, Arizona, Chicago Blackhawks, Columbus Blue Jackets, and also Ottawa, So we're going to have him on. I don't know when he's going to join. Sure, I'll invite you, Tony. There you go. I think you can just request there, Tony. There you go. I'm going to have him on here. Yeah, Tony, I can't see you, buddy, so just come in and then request to join here, and then we're going to get started. Should be a good talk. I don't see you requesting, Tony, so I can't see it. What's going on? Elevate. Go out and then back in, Tony. It's gonna ask you to request, and then I'm gonna let you in. Oh, Jay. Sorry, Jay, je te laisse pas rentrer. We're gonna have you as a guest next time, Jay. Come on. It's gonna be a good time. Just waiting on Tony. If you're on your cell phone, usually works better. If you're on a laptop, sometimes. A few people couldn't come in last time. Oh, there I am. He called me, so should be fine. Started getting back on the ice this past week. It was real good. Feels good to be out there. Hey, Liberto, how you doing? Really good to be out on the ice, man. Couple months off, it's tough, but real glad I got the chance to go back on the ice. So feels good. New Lefebvre gear. Oh, there he is. Tony Duclair is on. We're going to be able to bring him in there. Here we go. What's up, bro?
What's going on, man?
Did you go on my other account, or you didn't know?
Did
I not tell you?
I was like,
no, that's my bad. That's my bad, brother. That's my bad.
No problem.
How you doing tonight, man?
Good, how are you, man?
Great, never better. Glad we get to go back on the ice. You get on the ice this week?
I did not, no. And I haven't started skating yet. I'm just training, but hopefully in the next couple of weeks here, I'll get back out there. I'll probably be rusty, though.
But I mean, if we're honest, you might not have to go on for a while, so it doesn't. You don't have to risk it.
That's true. But when I do go on, I need you for the confidence, though.
Oh boy, here we go. Usually though, we're on the same team on a 3-on-3, so I guess that makes you kind of happy. So.
Very true.
Yeah, man. So maybe we're gonna get a couple 3-on-3 games going if they allow us at some point. Anyways, man, we're happy to have you. Living Sisu series. I talked a little bit about it, about our new company and what we're trying to do and the concept behind it. So for the people that are new, Living Sisu is a Finnish word from like Finnish descent, and it's a whole concept behind tenacity, determination, courage, like guts, grit, all these things, all these characteristics. So that's all part of the Living Sisu type of lifestyle. And we're going to see, Tony, if you live that lifestyle by asking a few questions, brother. So, yeah, just talk a bit about your start in sports, how you got started. If it was hockey, if it was another sport, talk a bit about your childhood in sports, man.
Yeah, so I started skating when I was 2 years old. First time I got on the ice, and living in Montreal, Canada. I mean, I think everybody is gonna get on the ice early and try to play hockey. And my dad really pushed me at a young age, and just loved skating. I loved it, and I played hockey for the first time at 4 years old, and just fell in love with the game. I did try other sports. I played baseball, soccer for a while.
You played baseball?
I played baseball for like 2 summers when I was younger.
We need to find you a picture of this, man. Jesus.
I'll try to find one for you, but it'll be
that
tough.
Would be real good. That would be real good. I can't see it.
It was still too young, so I had the ball on that little standing thing. Nobody was throwing the ball.
It was T-ball. It was the old T-ball game.
Yeah, exactly.
That was my favorite thing because that was the only way I could actually hit it.
100%. Actually, I went to Eric Jelena's softball charity game.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Struck out every time. There's no way we can hit the ball at these.
And it's a softball too.
It's a softball too, man. Like, imagine a baseball. Like, anyway.
That's hilarious.
So I even tried football. Didn't like it. But now I love the sport. But at a younger age, didn't like it. And just stuck with hockey, and it led me to here, where I am today.
Yeah, there's people saying they can't imagine you in a baseball uniform. I can't either, man. That's kind of just thinking about it. I'm like, I don't know if this fits, man. Yeah. So yeah, man, that's cool. And yeah, let's skip a little bit ahead. You went to junior, then you had that decision whether you were going to NCAA, and then you went to Quebec, man. Good decision. Obviously, we got to play together. We got to play together at the end there, but before we got to the Memorial Cup, we played the World Juniors together, man, and that was dope. And I'm not gonna ask you the question everybody asks because I've been asked that too, like, oh, how did it feel? Because we know it was an unreal experience, but I want to know like what you learned. What was that thing that you learned from it? Like, what was it?
Just every time you play in these types of tournaments, Team Canada, Team Quebec. You always have one message: come together as a team. And you know this growing up, and that's the biggest thing, to put your ego aside and do whatever it takes for the betterment of the team. So you got talented players from around the country coming in. They're usually the top guy, playing first line minutes. Even you as a goalie, you're used to playing every game, but now you got to put your ego aside and do whatever it takes to win. That's I think the reason why we had so much success is because all the boys knew their role. All the boys really bought into the system, and we had a talented team. One of the most talented teams Hockey Canada has ever seen.
Ever, yeah.
But I think the camaraderie that we had in the locker room just made it that much better and that much more fun, and guys were just having a blast. And I think that's why we were so dominant in that tournament.
Yeah, that was it was really nuts.
Yeah,
few people,
unreal
experience.
And
few people just came in there. She'll shout out to Nick Bruy, our teammate in Quebec, and Oli Thibodeau was there as well. Yeah, man, you're absolutely right. That was the main thing I learned too, is that first of all, by being at that stage, you realize you can play at that highest level, because there's no other higher level than that unless you're playing in the NHL. You don't really get to play that tournament, and that's why I realized I could play at the high level like anybody else, and it kind of gave you that confidence. And the second thing was that family culture that you get from going in a tournament like that, man. You're right, it was pretty wild.
Yeah, and especially having the tournament in Montreal in our own backyard.
Oh man, that's
That
true.
was just some good timing. And finishing off the medal round in Toronto, that was just unbelievable experience.
Oh, there you go. Another one of our teammates, Guillaume Goetz. Salut Big. Merci de
What up,
venir nous
Colts? What
supporter,
up, boy?
Big. Fait que c'est ça. So we went to World Juniors. We won that, and then boom, we're back in Quebec, man. But I want to talk about that year. I think that was the year where you started in the NHL and you came back. Am I right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So talk a bit about how that was like mentally tough. It's not easy. Like, how did you take it at first? How did that make you kind of evolve? How hard was it for a while?
Yeah, I mean, going to camp in New York, that was my second camp. So I was 19, and I was going to camp just, trying to, well, learn from the other guys. And my plan was obviously to go back to Quebec that year. And, stuff happened. There was some couple injuries and whatnot, and ended up making the team. And that was a full-on surprise for me. I was not expecting that at all. But
Mm.
at the same time, I was so grateful for my time in New York. I got to play with guys like Marty St. Louis, Rick Nash, Henrik Lundqvist, Dan Girardi. It was
Not a bad
unbelievable
squad.
experience, especially for a little 19-year-old kid like me, who grew up and like everybody, your dream is to play in NHL, and just to play in a city like New York, that was unreal. But having that experience and then going to the World Juniors, winning the gold medal. I think that year was a memorable year.
Yeah.
Obviously, having all that experience, bringing back to Quebec and having the Memorial Cup was huge. And for me going forward, now that I look back, it was a really fun year for
It's
sure.
one of those years that you go through, I
Yeah.
mean, you feel the same thing. And all the guys that play junior in their whole life will say the same thing. You
Hmm.
don't realize how good you have it until you're out of it. You're either playing, obviously,
Exactly.
some like you go in the NHL, and then some guys go to a job, go to university or whatever, and you realize that junior is like the best time of your life. You don't see it when you're there, but yeah, I
I
feel
want
you
to
on
give
that
a
one.
quick shout out to my boy Kevin Canon. He just threw out the eyeballs there. And Tate Johnson, my boy,
What's
he's a
up?
barber out in Columbus, so just have to show him some love.
What's going on? Thanks for coming on, boys. Appreciate you. Okay, so I remember probably half the team was injured during the Memorial Cup.
Yeah.
How do we get all the way there, man, with all those injuries? Talk about the resiliency it took. Didn't you have a dislocated shoulder or something like that?
We won't call it that, but something like that. Both my shoulders were definitely not 100%. I had ankle injury too, so I'm hopping on one foot. But
Yeah, it's true. I remember.
everyone's going through something in the playoffs, right? So I think the guys, even our top players back in, I think it was like Ryan Graves was not in Colorado, Adam Murney
Yeah.
was in Detroit. We were all going through something, but all in all, it was a great experience. It's still a little sour about the Game 7 loss
Oh
in
man.
the
Oh man.
finals, but all in all, the Memorial Cup was something special to be a part of, especially playing it in Quebec City, in our home. We'll never forget that. So that was a great experience for sure.
Yeah, it was sick. You're right. And so living Sisu, to bring it back to that, it's all about that resiliency, that mental resiliency, that courage, that determination. Like you need some grit, you need some guts, you need that. And I
Yeah,
remember at the World Juniors we showed it because we were up and then they came back.
yeah.
But we did show it in Quebec too, where half the team was kind of injured. We did show some grit there. I remember that was real cool. Now talk a bit about you were talking about how in New York there were some big names and stuff. You did make the jump to the show at some point. Talk about what you learned from the veterans. What was the biggest kind of lesson you learned from the veteran guys?
I think just the off the ice aspect is something that really opened up my eyes because I mean we all talk about it, obviously we all know how big a jump it is going from junior to the NHL, even junior, just pro hockey in general, whether it's
Yeah.
East Coast, AHL, or the NHL.
Well,
It's such
for,
a big jump, and now you're living on your own, right? You don't have a billet family. You don't have a, your home cooked meals
So,
that you do every
somebody
day.
picking up after you, somebody picking up
Exactly.
after you.
Exactly. Now you gotta do your own groceries and stuff like that. So just living on your, I was actually lucky enough. I was roommates with Kevin Hayes. We were both rookies, so we lived through it together. Um, but I think the off ice aspect is the biggest key to understand and to mature from. I think just learning from those guys again. Just especially I think Marty St. Louis was a big guy
That's
that
awesome.
really looked after me and my
So what
time
did
there.
what did
'Cause
what
we
did
had
you
that.
take away from Marty, for example? Marty St.
I
Louis,
mean,
what did you take away?
his routine for the games. How like in junior when I was 16, like I was playing soccer before games and then just jumping on the ice and I'm flying around. But
No warm up or
you
whatever,
learn.
right?
I think you get to learn your body a little bit as you get older. That you got to be stretching and taking care of your body and eating right and getting enough sleep and stuff like that. So just that aspect, I learned a lot for sure.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, and on ice, like who was somebody that you came to the NHL, whether it was in Arizona or Chicago or whatnot, and you said, okay, well, this guy, like well, for us goalies, the main thing I learned was the consistency it took from like practice habits, because as a goalie it's different. It's a lot more systematic in my opinion. Like
Yeah.
you have a lot of skill involved, or more, some players will have more skill involved, but as a goalie it's got to be like everything's got to stay tight, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I bet you Lundqvist's a good example of that. But what was like an on ice aspect that you said, okay, well, maybe I'm gonna have to get better at this. I didn't care about this in junior. This
Hmm.
was not important because obviously you were better than half the guys there, or
Yeah.
probably 90% of the guys. But
Yeah.
what was something you looked at and said, okay, well, this I got to start practicing this stuff right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you actually. It's funny you say that. I think the practice habits. Like I said, in junior or even in midget or whatnot, you just go to practice, just skate around. But I think in practice is where you can build your confidence. And I seen guys practice as hard or even harder than they do in games, and that was something I was like pretty shocked. I was like, these guys are going so hard in practice. Like, what's going on here? And you quickly
What's
learn. You
going on
quickly
here?
learn too that the coaches are watching, right? The coaches are seeing who's ready for practice. It's basically you can't take a day off, right? So
Yeah.
I learned that early on, and now in my game where I see if I am struggling or whatnot, well, stay an extra 15, 20 minutes after practice. Get on earlier, do those extra reps or it goes a long way. And I think because the season is so long that you have time to better yourself. You have the time, you have the facility, like this is your facility. You got time to, go work out or whatnot, even though you're feeling tired. So you got the extra time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
You didn't play much in the AHL, did you? Maybe a few
I
games?
played 18 games. 18
18.
games.
Okay, so you don't like, I find that so I spent a little time in Montreal, but I find that the routine was a little easier to follow when I was in Montreal than it was in AHL. Like there's skills coach coming in and it's just a
Mhm.
consistent grind and it's just like
Yeah.
extra and it's always going on. So I guess you got lucky turning from junior and then learning right from like the top pros like Marty St. Louis of the off ice habits and stuff. I guess you hit a good spot in the
Yeah.
AHL. It's a hell of a challenge.
I
People
was
think
really
it's
lucky for sure. For sure.
18 games. And yeah, right now obviously it's kind of a weird time. Like it's kind of strange. Like you don't even know when it's going to start over again. Like how are you dealing with that? It's kind of a challenge. Like you're just going
Yeah.
to take a little time now. You start training. What's kind of your protocol?
Yeah. So I think for the first 3 months when we were all on lockdown there, I was still in Ottawa doing nothing. Our season was over, and I was
Like
just
all
taking
of
the
us.
time to relax though, because it was a long year. I didn't really get the bye week that the guys have because of the All-Star weekend. But yeah, I was just really tired. It was time for me to just relax the body, reflect. But I have started working out again. I run a lot, as you know, as I told you, and just staying in shape. I'm gonna start skating in the next couple weeks here, and For myself, just hanging out with family, friends. I
That's
mean,
it.
it's not.
Same.
It's the first time I'll be home for an extended period of time since I was like 15. So I know my parents, my little siblings back home are loving the time that we're sharing with each other. So I
Yeah.
think my main focus is more family time for sure.
Yeah, I saw your brother at the rink the other day. I think it was at Cartier doing
Okay,
got
yeah.
off. I saw him. Said what's up. And yeah, man, I mean, it's so weird because none of us really been off the ice this long.
Hmm.
It's kind of, hey, how was the All-Star experience? How was that? I mean, we didn't talk much about it, but how was that?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Obviously, never thought I'd be part of that in my whole career, to be honest with you. But it's something that I've watched growing up every single year.
I know,
All the
I
skills
know.
come up, all you see the progressiveness every year, and just to be a part of that was an unreal experience. Um, to be honest, like my favorite skill comp, obviously it resembles my game, was the fastest skater, and just to be part of that and compete
That's
against
sick.
the top guys in the league was real eye opening for me. Um, I do have to admit that I was using brand new skates, and uh,
Oh boy.
and I'm not saying that I would have got a better time, but that's all. I
But you're
just gotta
saying
put it
you would
out
have got
there.
a better
I
time.
gotta
That's what
put
you're
it out
saying.
there,
But
though.
we have a few guys on the live right now. Probably Gauthier saying he probably would have beat you, but
Not in a million
I
years,
don't
man.
doubt that.
Not in
I
a
don't doubt
million
that.
years.
Hey, we still got to get a barbecue going before I go. I should be leaving not too long from now.
I just got a barbecue too. You guys are
So
welcome.
then it's at your place then. Cool, man.
100%.
That's good. Now, I did see you've been starting to play more golf. What's this? You haven't played golf in years, and all of a sudden, every
No,
time I
no,
call you, you're on the golf
no.
course. What's going on?
Hey, I play golf maybe like 5 times a summer, and it's planned out, and it's whatever. But this summer, I decided to play more golf, and if you ask me if I got better, no, I did not.
Probably
I'm
not, eh?
still awful. I'm the worst golfer ever, but I'm there for fun. I'm a good time though. That's what
That's
counts,
good.
right?
Oh yeah, well that's the main. That's why we get on the course. All right, man, we're
Exactly.
gonna wrap it up. I appreciate you. I mean,
Mhm.
I realize that we don't usually talk like this in an interview state. We usually have dinner and
Mhm.
talk about whatever. But I really appreciate you coming on, man. You've shown some pretty good resiliency, and that's kind of the Sisu lifestyle.
Mhm.
Like it's not easy, man. Like you went from junior to the NHL, and then you skipped around a few spots, man. I wouldn't say it when if we're just having dinner, but I'm here, and I think it's dope that you kind of had a sick year, and all of a sudden you're an all-star, man. I'm happy about that.
Appreciate that, man.
Before we go, talk a bit about the Hockey Diversity Alliance and what that's about, and how that's going to help sports in general, and how that's going to help people in general activate their lifestyle, because that's what we're about at Living Sisu as well. Talk a bit about that.
Yeah, I appreciate giving me the platform to talk about this. It's obviously an issue where it's tough to talk about, but I think at the same time, with everything that's going on in the world right now, it's just a perfect time to be speaking about this. And
Yeah,
I
and
think
I
it's
don't think
yeah.
this should be a talk that's like uncomfortable, man. Like
No,
this
I
is
think
you and
it's
me, you know?
yeah, exactly. It's long overdue, and there is racism in hockey. I mean, growing up, and this has been going on since forever. And we just want to, and myself and the 8 other guys on the HDA want to end that, and we want to start by influencing younger kids, younger generations to be more educated and speak up when things do happen, because I think it's very important for kids to understand that everybody's different. Everybody comes from different backgrounds, ethnicities, and I think everybody's equal. It doesn't matter where you come from or whatnot. If you want to play hockey, or if you want to play soccer, or if you want to do anything in life, go ahead and do it.
Anything.
It
It
doesn't
should
matter.
not matter for absolutely
Exactly.
anything, man.
So I've been through it, and we all react to different situations, right? Well, my reaction was keep it inside and just move on and have thick skin. But you know what? The other kid in Toronto or the other kid in Calgary, well, he might just be the only black kid on the team and doesn't want to face through that, and he'll quit. You know, I've heard a lot of stories where kids will quit hockey prematurely, and that's as a black guy in the NHL, listening to that and hearing that stuff, you know, it breaks my heart because I know I went through it, and I just don't want anyone else to go through it. So, and I also think if you get more minorities in the sport of hockey, like the sport is just gonna continue growing. Like, why do you think
100%.
why is the NHL, you know, here and the NBA, MLB, NFL all up here? You know what I mean? Because it's a more
Yeah.
diverse sport. So anyone who doesn't agree with me or doesn't want the hockey to grow. It's as simple as that. So
As simple as that.
I mean,
100%.
I gotta go in my closet here and get the hoodie.
Yeah, so just as you
Bear
do it
with me
then,
here.
so the
Yeah,
Hockey Diversity Alliance, you guys have a campaign right now where you're selling hoodies and t-shirts.
yeah.
You're
Hoodies
going to
and
show the
t-shirts.
logo in a second, and all the
It is.
proceeds.
It is.
Um,
It is time sensitive. It's till July 2nd, I believe.
I think
So,
there's 3 days left
yeah,
to get one of these hoodies, you guys.
if you guys can go on gobardown.com.
I'll put it in the note after in the
Okay.
caption.
Yeah. So gobardown.com and open the layer, and it's all the proceeds are going to go to the Hockey Diversity Alliance and Akeem Aliu's Time to Dream Foundation. So it's all for a good cause. We appreciate the support. We've had a lot of people reach out in the past few weeks, and we just basically, this is it. There you go.
Yeah.
This is the hoodie.
Change hockey culture. Man, I'm all for that. That's
It's
great.
it's on my page. It's pretty easy to get. Gobardown.com and get your hoodie, get your t-shirt, support the cause.
Man, we're gonna make some positive change, man. That's
Yeah.
what we want. We just want some positive change. We want at Living Sisu, we want sport to be accessible to everybody. So
Exactly.
we want you to try all different types of sport, and to bring it back to what you were just saying, you're trying to make it so that everybody can play the game of hockey no matter what.
Exactly.
No more of this, racism or everybody can play, and that's it.
Exactly. That's
Period.
all.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'm happy that this is going down. Hockey Diversity Alliance is a long overdue type of organization. Good for you guys. And so I'm gonna put it down. Text me the link, and then
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it in the caption. And everybody, they're all 50 people right now. We're gonna go get Hockey Diversity Alliance
Please do. Please do.
t-shirts and hoodies. There's only 3 days left, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, man.
Again, we're working on some real big things here at Living CC. You guys, by the end of the week, stay tuned. Like, this is huge. I'm telling you, we're gonna have some real good stuff going on. So, Tony, we're gonna have you as a member by the end of the week. Thanks a lot, guys, for tuning in. This was a real good talk. And anything else you got to say, brother? And
Yeah, I appreciate for bringing me on here. Appreciate giving me the platform to speak about this stuff, and whatever you need, man. You know I got you.
Okay, so by the weekend, we're going to have a barbecue at your place. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to bring a nice T-bone steak.
Yeah.
And Jay Verrier, make sure you bring your T-bone steak. We're going to have one for you. And yeah, man, have a good night. Thanks, everybody. If you guys have any questions about Living Sisu or what we stand for, or what we're trying to do, all we're trying to do is activate your lifestyle. Everybody have a good night. See ya. Ciao. Ciao, Tony.
Chill.